the School of Management at TIS is part of an institute which is basically a social science institute. Like, I was watching frequently the YouTube casts and YouTube webinars of TISS, and I'd like to thank their aspirants relation committee. A common thing ran through across each and every person who is currently there at TISS, and which is they are very grounded. The thought process is like the professors encourage students to think on their own, to learn from what they observe, and the openness to experience factor is a lot in TISS. Yes, extempore test was actually a surprise element introduced in the TIS exam. Earlier it was to be a TIS mat, but this year that was replaced and a 100 marker extempore test was introduced.
Hi Tarun, welcome to Krakow interview series.
Thank you, thank you.
So first of all, a big congratulations on making it to the TIS HRM program.
Thanks a lot, thanks a lot. It's a great feeling.
Right. So firstly, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your education background, and then when you started your whole journey towards TIS?
Okay, so I graduated in 2014 from JP University.
Oh, okay.
And after that, I'd been doing for 1 year some sort of journalism. I've been associated with The Hindu and a few other newspapers. I've been also doing blogging in 2014-15. 2015, I started with my UPSC preparation. My first attempt at UPSC was in 2016.
Okay.
Since 2016 till 2020, I gave 5 attempts at UPSC.
Oh, okay.
And I also appeared for mains in between. And after 2009, I think 20, yes, okay. 2020, I failed in my final 5th attempt in UPSC. So I decided it should be the end there. And after that, since I had already planned that I'll be going for the TIS HRM program, throughout my UPSC journey, I had planned my career accordingly.
Okay.
That if I do not get ahead with UPSC, then TIS HRM will be like plan B. So that is how I started preparing from I think mid of June 2020, I started preparing for TISS.
Okay.
And it has been around a 6-month long preparation, which involved a lot of mocks, and mostly I did my preparation on my own. I took help from certain online available sources, like for example from Krakow. I did a lot of online free mocks available. Then I did a lot of free lectures which were available on YouTube. A lot of platforms I used. So basically it was a self-study kind of a preparation after June 2020.
Right.
So I actually gave a lot of on the Krakow website. I did a lot of free available CAT past year papers. So my basis of preparing for this exam, the TIS exam, was doing very well in the CAT mocks, and from that I could get confident about 60% of the TISnet exam, and the rest 40% I depended on my own UPSC preparation.
Great.
So it was basically like that.
Okay. So, firstly, let's discuss about your TISnet exam preparation. So can you tell us how you prepared for the TISnet exam and each section of the exam?
Okay, so my preparation strategy was divided into 3 parts. The first part was of giving around 5 to 6 mocks so that I get a fair idea of the sections I need to prepare on and where I need to work more. After that 5-6 mocks, I started with completing the entire syllabus. Once I had an idea what kind of questions were asked and what was the difficulty level, accordingly I made my own notes. I used a lot of resources, including books available, a lot of freely available resources on the internet, including Krakow and other websites. So by the end of 3 months, I think around October end, I had with myself the entire syllabus along with good quality questions and formulas to be applied. This is the quant part I'm talking about. For the GK part, I think since I had a UPSC background, so it was slightly easier for me. For the newer aspirants, I would suggest what you should do, you should have a basic grasp of the social reform movements of modern India.
Okay.
You should have a basic understanding of world history, basic understanding of economics. You can use, for modern India, you can use Spectrum and a few other books. Basically, these are well-known books available for modern India.
Okay.
Then you can do world history, and for economics, you can follow the NCERT books. For the current affairs part, I would suggest a lot of aspirants, what they do is they make daily GK notes. So I think instead of going for daily GK notes, what one should do is make topic-wise notes. For example, whatever you see in the newspaper, take one day in the week. Don't do GK every day. Take one day in the week, and make the entire, let's say, culture-related notes per week.
Right.
You make politics-related news per week. So do it topic-wise and do it one day in a week. Don't do it every day. Otherwise, it will consume your whole day in doing the GK stuff. GK is so wide.
Right.
And after I had in November, like after I had my full quant notes, I had a fair idea of how the exam was going to be. After that, after November, I think when the UPSC prelims result came, and I knew finally that yes, it is going to be, it is only that my plan B is to be executed.
Right.
So the test exam was scheduled to be on 21st of February 2021. In the meantime, 2 months, what I did was I took a lot of loose sheets. What I did, when I went through a mock, and I did not time myself. Like I said, I had to do 20 questions in this mock, and I'll take my time. I'll just see how many questions I can attempt with accuracy and confidently. So whenever I could not attempt a question, let's say the question relates to profit and loss. So I wrote on one side of the page, I wrote these are the questions in profit and loss I could not solve. Then from the next mocks onwards, I tried to solve similar kind of questions. And when I could solve one of the questions, I had written in my notes. Then I wrote that question on the back side of the loose sheet.
Okay.
So one side were the questions I could not solve. Then after, let's say, 2 weeks, the other side had the questions I could solve. And those questions were similar ones. So just like, say, 2 weeks before the exam, when I looked through those sheets, I had built a lot of confidence in me. Because one side was what I could not do, and the other side was what I could do.
Right.
And both were similar things. So it was mentally a lot of kind of very reinforcing to me that before going to the exams, like it told me I did not know these things few months back. Now I know them, and if something new comes up in the exam, so I should be confident on my abilities, and I will surely be able to solve those questions. One more strategy I adopted before, I think 2 weeks before the exam, that I gave around 5 mocks, just 5 mocks. So just 2 weeks before the exam, what I did, I gave 5 mocks and spaced like 2 days spacing between each mock.
Okay.
And what I focused on was seeing my comfortability level, how comfortable I am in doing those mocks with speed, and how quickly I can do with the GK part.
Okay.
Like it's a 1 hour paper, and you have 60 questions to do in around 45 to 47 minutes. If you can do your entire 40 questions of GK in 10 to 13 minutes, then it saves a lot of time for your English and mathematics part. So I was trying to get a bit more comfortable with the time part in the last 5 to 6 mocks. And 5 days before the exam, I did not give any mocks. That's the whole strategy part of it.
Great. So can you tell us, I think there is no sectional time limit in the TISNET exam. So
no, there is no section.
Can you tell us in what order you attempted the sections, and how can one come up with the right order to attempt the sections?
Okay, the best strategy to go about this is to start with GK.
Okay.
And it also, I would say, depends a bit on luck, because if you do your GK confidently, then I think 40% of it is done very well. And that confidence you get in the first 10 to 12 minutes. It can go either the positive side or the negative side, but if you are prepared well, rest assured that you will do GK very well. Like for example, this year the cutoff was 68. So this year the cutoff was 68 marks out of 100 in TISNET exam for the general category candidates. And let's say if you can score around 45 to 50 in your quant section out of 60.
Okay.
So you just need to score, I think, 25 marks in your GK section, and 25 out of 40 is very manageable in GK. And the biggest advantage here is that you don't have a negative marking, so you can also go for some valid guesses out there.
That's right.
So the strategy about section order should be: do GK first, complete it as quickly as possible, and then I would say choose the easier questions. Don't go section wise. Choose the easier questions in both maths and English. Go through the entire length, because this year what I found, DI was slightly tricky. The comprehension passages were lengthy. So do whatever you can do quickly in the first go. Then come back again to those two sections.
Right.
They combine reasoning in the maths part only. So then come back again and do the remaining part in the round 2. That was my strategy.
Yeah. Okay. So can you tell us how you manage job along with your testnet preparation?
Yes, that's a very interesting question. Actually, the concept in my mind was not to manage time, but to do whatever I was doing very efficiently.
Okay.
Time will automatically get managed. So whenever I did, like if it was a training session, then I tried to prepare myself very quickly, deliver the training, and just get over with it. Not to keep thinking of how it went or what will be the results, something like that. Then when I was doing my UPSC preparation, the time was allotted, and whatever I could do, I did not extend my time. Then there was time for testnet. So basically it was efficiency playing all along, and I think that's what management and entrance exams test, how efficiently you can solve any problem or whatever task you are doing.
Right, great. So what do you think is the difference between testnet and other MBA entrance exams, especially CAT?
Okay, I can tell this question in terms of CAT only because I used CAT to prepare for testnet.
Right.
I'd say because for the quant part, it's like if you are prepared for CAT exam, you are 60% done with testnet.
Okay.
So 60 marks, if you can get around 99 percentile in CAT exam, from those 60 marks of testnet, you will definitely get 50 above. Okay. Just assured of that. You will definitely get 50 above if you are 99 percentiler in CAT. Then the 40% part is left to testnet, which is very unique to it, and I don't think any other management entrance exams gives that much kind of weightage to the GK section.
Right.
For the GK section, I think your preparation has to be different. I don't think I can compare it with CAT. It is very unique to this exam.
Right. So why did you specifically choose TISS or Tata Institute of Social Sciences?
Okay, that question came at the very right moment because TISS, the School of Management at TISS, is part of an institute which is basically a social science institute. So I've been associated with like I was watching frequently the YouTube casts and YouTube webinars of TISS, and I'd like to thank their aspirants relation committee, which was continuously showing us talks of current students at TISS along with professors at TISS. And when I heard all of them, a common thing ran through across each and every person who is currently there at TISS, and which is they are very grounded.
Okay.
And they all think the thought process is like the professors encourage students to think on their own.
Okay.
To learn from what they observe.
Right.
So the learning is very liberal, and the openness to experience factor is a lot in TISS. Apart from that, there are certain well-known factors, I think, which everybody knows, that TISS is famous for their NGO stints in terms of academic pedagogy. Their foundational courses cover like entire UPSC syllabus for the first semester.
Okay.
And then obviously the return on investment is a lot when you are joining TISS compared to other good MBA colleges.
Right, brilliant. Okay, now let's discuss your interview experience. I think this year TISS has introduced 100 marks extempore test. So can you tell us how you prepared yourself for that?
Yes, extempore test was actually a surprise element introduced in the TISS exam. Earlier it was to be a test mat, but this year that was replaced and a 100 marker extempore test was introduced.
Okay.
It was a surprise element, but at the same time it was very interesting because if you are prepared well on your GK part, it is not that difficult actually.
Okay.
And what my strategy was to prepare some points on around, let's say, 40 to 50 topics. I had my own notes and bullet points on around 40 to 50 topics which were supposed to be asked, but unfortunately none of them were asked in my exam. And I think from whatever the interview transcripts I saw, I think those topics were hardly covered. So the topics were fairly random, I think, and you had to be like very present at the interview moment. And if you are able to just connect your thoughts, that process will pass out with ease. But if you take too much load on yourself, like I have to get the best out of this process, then it might take a toll on your performance. But I'd like to emphasize on one thing, that what TISS wrote in its notice when saying that they are introducing this extempore test.
Okay.
They use the word reflection. So you have to reflect on a topic given. So don't take it as a speech. Don't take it as a speech. Just try to make some valid sense in whatever you are speaking, and you will go through it very fine.
Great. So what was the interview process like? So how did you prepare for the TISSNET interview and each stage of the whole interview?
Okay, so the interview process, I got a lot of time to prepare for the interviews because of the COVID situation, I think. So UPSC, being a UPSC candidate, there's both an advantage and a disadvantage. Advantage in the terms of you're already prepared with a lot of general stuff, and if your optional is relevant, like in my case it was public administration. Along with that, I was also an NLP professional, so I had some grasp on applied psychology.
Okay.
So my interview was basically revolving around my profile only. There were no general knowledge questions asked. Although I had prepared for some current issues for the interviews, then I prepared my optional very well. I give that as an advice to all the future UPSC guys who will be appearing for TISS, that do your optional very well. Be it history, geography, anthropology, or anything. Prepare your optional like you are going to appear for a UPSC interview. That's it. Don't take it lightly, because that is what tells how seriously you are doing your UPSC stuff.
Okay.
That speaks a lot about you. So, and then it is very important to go through specific HR books for the interview. For example, in my case, I read Gary Dessler. This is a HR book taught. Then you can also go through other books. I'll not name them, but they are widely known, those kind of books. You can go through management theories and these kind of books. So prepare for the HR part. Do your WorkX well, and do your academics well. For the UPSC guys, it is basically your optional. For the WorkX, you should be well aware of how your WorkX is going to be applied for the HR domain. Which, let's say you might be an electronics engineer,
right,
but how HR plays a role in your factory or your company, you should know that very well. So basically, if you focus on these three parts, your interview will go very
okay. Fine. Great. So you said you graduated in 2014 and you gave your TISSNET exam in 2021. So was there any question asked about that, like about any gap years during your career, and how did you tackle that question?
Actually, gap per se, there does not exist a gap as such in my career, because I've been doing UPSC and I've also been working parallelly since 2017. Before that, I was doing journalism and been associated with a few newspapers. So there's no gap as such, but yes, the panel wants to know if you aren't saturated with so much of learning, do you still have that kind of hunger in you to learn more?
Right.
And the questions are basically directed to assess this part only. Are you eager to learn? Do you have that hunger in you? And if you have a genuine answer to that, the panel will surely consider you for the course.
Great. So during this whole journey, from like since you graduated and during your UPSC preparation, was there any stage where you got very demotivated, especially when UPSC is not going your way? Like, was there any such phase? And if yes, how did you handle such? How did you handle that phase?
There were many such moments throughout the UPSC preparation as well as during the TISS preparation where I felt low, especially because UPSC involves a lot of successes and failures, and there are a lot of stages, and every stage counts a lot. So whenever I felt low, what I used to do was I just thought in me that this is one of the most difficult exams in the world, and to get out of it is what I did was I just took a break, and I played some chess, I cooked some food, and I took a break from studies for 1 or 2 days, and then I came back afresh. That part was for UPSC, how I kept up my motivation. And when I decided to prepare for TISS, it was my plan B, and this was my first attempt at TISS.
Great.
So yes, because I did not want to create another gap year, getting into TISS was very, very important for me.
Right.
A challenge, but at the same time, the thought that if I don't clear it, then it will be another big problem in my career. So that thought, as soon as it came, it was kind of demotivating. But what I did to get out of it was, I was continuously thinking why I want to do HR at TISS. And when I went through that question, there were a few points which ran through my mind. First, that I'm a guy who has been doing public administration for around 4 to 5 years. Then I also have a good command on psychology. If I get into this HR course at TISS, I will have a very solid profile behind my back, and I'll really like to study the HR stuff there. And my profile will become very relevant and very sound for future studies or the job market itself. So that part of it was really motivating, and it was like countering the pressure I had on my back regarding clearing tests. And obviously TISS is one of those exams where around 50,000 candidates compete and only 68 get selected, and for the general candidates it's still less.
Just 68?
So there, yes, just 68. So 68 is the total strength, and I think for general candidates around 28. So it was a big challenge, and I'm a person who likes challenges. The more pressure you put on me, the better I become. So I think that was a motivating factor itself, that it's a very difficult exam, and if I get through it, I'll really feel confident about myself. So that was motivating. And whenever I just suggest to all the aspirants that whenever you feel demotivated, just take a break from studies. Don't think about studies. Just take a 2-day break, do whatever you like, and come back again.
Brilliant. So what were some of the biggest mistakes you've done during your preparation journey, and what did you learn from them?
So basically, the mistakes part I made was in the beginning of my preparation, where this especially related to my UPSC preparation, and I learned the lessons there, and I did not do it in the GK part. I think I've covered it earlier also, that whenever you are doing GK, don't try to complete everything. Don't try to do everything. See what kind of questions are asked, and be very relevant. Make your own notes, and make those notes very relevant to your preparation. What I did in my earlier years of preparation was that I spent almost the entire day preparing newspaper notes. Don't do that mistake. And sometimes people think that you read one Hindu and one Express and one Economic Times and one Financial Times and make a comprehensive notes. Believe me, that idea does not work in real life. You will have to leave questions, you will have to skip questions, you have to make educated guesses, then only you can do in GK very well. You cannot do it entirely. So go topic wise, and please don't do this mistake of doing your GK the entire day. Just give I think 40% of your time to GK and 60% of your time to quant and quant reasoning and English. Don't focus too much on GK, don't depend too much on it. If you don't score more than 45 in quant section, it will be difficult for you to clear this exam.
Right, exactly. So finally, what are some tips that you'd like to give the future aspirants who are preparing, who are targeting the TISS, preparation related tips and the interview related tips?
Okay, so I'll start with the interview tips, because I think that is a very crucial stage, and since this is the chronology of TISS every year in the management exams, that it generally falls towards the end after CAT and other exams. So most of the candidates are well prepared for their quant, reasoning and English sections. The GK preparation here matters a lot in terms of clearing TISSNet as well as the interview. It's like a linking pin between your TISSNet to getting the final selection and clearing the interviews. So I'd say whenever you are doing GK, for every topic, for every news you have, make a separate notes where there is a possibility of those kind of questions being asked in your interview. So not every GK question, some are very factual, but some, for example, the farmer agitation is recently happening, then you have GST, then you have universal basic income. These are topics which are related to the workforce, and there are high chances that they can be asked in the interview. So don't wait to clear TISSNet and then start making notes on these topics. Do this while you are making your GK notes, and that will help you a lot in terms of focusing on other things if you clear TISSNet. So that will save time for you. So just do the GK preparation in a very integrated manner. Don't do TISSNet specific. do it from the point of view thinking that you will clear testnet and you will appear for interviews. So make it a little bit more comprehensive, specifically those topics which are likely to be asked in your interviews. And during the interviews, of course, staying calm and relaxed and not trying too much in the interviews makes a lot of difference. Right. If you just be yourself and if you are confident about whatever you have studied, you will do very well. And the panel is so helpful in my case. Okay. In most of the cases, the panel is very helpful and they will make you feel very comfortable. Before the interview processes, the aspirant selection committee will guide you through everything.
Okay.
So don't worry. It's a very smooth process, and what I experienced at TISS is one of the best pre-interview processes, even in these online interview times. So you should not worry, just be prepared.
Right. Brilliant. So thank you so much, Tarun. I had a great time talking to you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and all the very best for your journey to TISS.
Thank you.